Okay, let me start with something that's a little uncomfortable. For a long time, my career plan was basically not this. I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. I didn't want to have a boss. I didn't want to feel trapped in some job that was draining my soul. That was my plan. And I mean, I guess on paper, I kind of won. Like, I had a job where I worked very little. I had plenty of time, like 5 hours alone every day between my activities that I needed to do while teaching. And I had enough money to survive. There was not a lot of top down hierarchical restrictions on me, right? There's nobody really watching me. And my schedule was kind of consistent. I had that block of time where I could do whatever I wanted. And I wasted it. I didn't build anything. I didn't practice anything. I didn't even rest in a way that actually restored me. When I was at work and I had that extra time, I was just scrolling and wasting it. And then when I would come home after work, I just played games, or I went out and I drank with my friends. I burned my time. And I told myself that I was free. Looking back, that wasn't actually freedom. It was avoidance of the things that I needed to do in my life in order to live the life that I wanted to live. I just didn't want to work, and especially not the 9 to 5. And I know many other people don't like the 9 to 5s, but INFPs have a real pushback against it. That was my whole philosophy. That was my whole goal. And later, I actually swung the other direction and took a real job. I was headhunting, maybe not what you're thinking. I was cold calling banks in Japanese, and I had to lie to get past the gatekeeping and to get information from them. It was horrible. Sitting in a cubicle, cold calling in Japanese while lying to people is definitely not something aligned with most INFPs. And then I would have to call back again in English and try to get those people into interviews. And the end game goal was technically good. It was helping them get placed into a better job, make more money, have better pay, better life. But the day-to-day experience that I was in felt awful. But there was something there. There was something that actually felt kind of good. And that was that it felt professional. It felt like I was showing up. I was doing something difficult, that I was enduring. And that's where it got kind of confusing because I hated it. I hated it so much. And there was another job after that, video editing, that I actually liked aspects of the job. And I was a professional, and yet I hated that too. So I hated it, but it felt kind of legitimate. Like maybe this is what adulting is like. Maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. So on one side, I had freedom, but it was rotting. It was not being used well at all. And on the other side, there was structure that felt like it was crushing my soul. And I kept telling myself the problem was the 9 to 5. That was the villain of my whole life. But honestly, the real problem was that I didn't have a plan at all. I was just reacting. And a lot of INFP career advice and a lot of INFPs kind of live in this space where it's avoid the system, follow your passion, don't sell out. And it sounds noble. It sounds authentic. And it also kind of assumes that you will magically use your time in the best way. And that wasn't true for me. When no one needed anything from me, I kind of just disappeared and I just got lost in books and music and researching things and Wikipedia at the time. And when people did need something from me, when I was in a job that required me to do these certain tasks at a certain time and be all professional, I hated it. I fought against it. So neither one worked. And what I eventually found was that I hated structure, and I hated specifically structure that didn't belong to me. I needed to create the structure for myself. And actually, that I didn't want freedom. I just wanted a life that was led by my passions, that I was seeking something. I was growing. I was pursuing some bigger aspects of my life, some ultimate quest. And I think most people would say, I don't know what this looks like. I don't know how to do it. So I'm just not going to do it. I want to share with you what has worked for me so far in my journey, because I do know what I actually did. I went in full force, all in, on some important things that I cared about. The thing that I was really passionate about, which is personality type and self-development. I spent hours and hours every day focused on that. And it wasn't just the passion itself. It wasn't just doing the stuff. It was actually like building skills around it. Transferable skills that I could use later in my life too. How to explain ideas, how to speak, how to write, how to notice what people are actually struggling with and package it in a way that other people actually want what I have to offer. And there's also a Tony Robbins idea called net time. It's no extra time. So if I was commuting on the train, I studied. If I was walking, I listened to podcasts or videos. If I was waiting, I was reading. I was constantly feeding my mind, not just numbing it like I used to. And that was the shift. So because before, my free time just kind of leaked away. I just dabbled it. I drew little doodles, nothing related to some ultimate goal or quest. Played games, I got distracted. I still play games. I love games. But it was way skewed and imbalanced. It was just noise in my life. And this was different because I focused on something that was important and it compounded. It wasn't like a dramatic shift in all things. There was no big breakthrough moment, but I found pockets of time where I could put energy and effort into that would develop skills that I could use later on in my life. And that was all tied to my passions. There were plenty of moments where I created something that I could use later, or moments where I said something that was helpful to someone else that I took and I captured it and I found ways of using it later. There were moments where the thing that I was focused on or that I cared about was helpful to other people. And that fueled it more. That gave me more and more motivation. And that's the part that a lot of INFPs skip, is we don't refine, we don't reflect over it as much as we could or should. And when we are pursuing these services, these crafts, this alternate career, entrepreneurship or art, we get kind of lost in what we should do. There isn't a path for that. And there's one kind of reframe that has helped me, is that money isn't the problem. Money isn't magic. It's not betrayal to make money off of something. It's an exchange of value. If what you are doing is valuable to someone else, meaning that it solves a problem for them, alleviates something, helps them do something that they want to do, then that's great. When I stopped treating that like it was some sort of corruption to get money for my services, and I started treating it as feedback that it was or was not perceived as valuable enough, then things really loosened up and I was able to reshape how I thought about money and about my career and about the time and energy and effort that I spent on different things. And us INFPs, we live in ideas. We love connections. We love focusing on human patterns, how people become who they are. We can see things differently because of our extroverted intuition, saying, well, have you thought about it like this? Or it could be like this, or here's another solution. And this can be really unfocused, but it can also be incredibly practical if you stay with it long enough and if you shape it towards a goal. It's not about chasing every idea, but it's about like, what is the one idea that is like my focus, right? There's one direction that I'm putting all of my effort and time and energy and heart and soul into problem solving around that. letting the skills kind of like build upward. If you imagine like a pyramid, like the skills are, you're stacking all these different skills that are necessary for you to share your advice and your opinion and your value in a way that other people get it. And this is very different from saying just, I don't want a 9 to 5 and living in poverty or suffering because of fighting that, because it feels wrong to work like that, to be a cog in the system and hoping that someday somebody will come and save us, that everything will just work out. And I've been there. I experienced that. And I thought, if I just keep showing up and I'm a good person, then everything is going to just work out for me, instead of me working out to create the life that I wanted to create. Meaning and purpose probably just doesn't show up on its own. And I'm still adjusting, and I always will be. It's always a work in progress. If you treat life as an experimentation, then I think everything gets better, because you stop putting so much emotion into the things that are not necessary, that don't actually have inherent meaning and emotion in them. If somebody says something, we attach meaning and emotion to it and say, well, this person was feeling this way, or this was their intention, and I'm a bad person because they said this or they had this experience. And that's not true. It's just interpretations, and you can always change your interpretations. And I spend a lot of time noticing where I resist structure and what has helped me. I am now in the boat of, if it's not on my schedule, then I'm probably not going to do it. So I put a lot of things on my schedule, and it helps. And it helps me to build something instead of just sprinkling away my time or avoiding work. And that feels like the real difference. It's about taking these skill sets and stacking them up so that you can have flexibility and resourcefulness in any domain that you pursue. And you'll probably always have this interconnecting thread. I imagine like a quilt. There's all these different interests, and you are the one that's sewing them together. Okay? And you need different fabrics to do that. But if you just have them all scattered out and you're not actually doing the work of interweaving these skills and these interests, then eventually you get to a point where, like, I don't have any skills. What am I supposed to do? I feel behind. And the only thing really that I believe that you can do in those times is to start. If you're just waiting more and more, then you're going to feel like that more and more. So the best time to start is now.